Welcome back to Cooking with Bee. On today's video, we're going to be doing fried pork cutlets. So come cook with me. So the ingredients for the fried pork cutlets today will be, we've got some nice seasoned panko breadcrumbs. To flavor that up, we're going to add some onion powder, some garlic powder, and some Parmesan cheese. And then my secret touch is I like to do a nice dash of a barbecue seasoning. We've got our nice center cut pork chops that have just been trimmed up of the fat on the outside, and a couple eggs. So those are today's ingredients. All right, so we're gonna start by pounding out the pork cutlets. Normally I would buy thin cut, but the store didn't have them this week, so I'm gonna go ahead and pound them out myself. So either way, they come out great. So we're gonna start by doing that. So you can see here, I've just got some center cut pork chops. I've got a cutting board and my nice handy dandy meat mallet. So if you're having a bad day, this will help. So we'll just take one of our pork chops and ready. As you smash, you're going to want to push out a little bit so that it evens it out. We're going to flip it and do the same thing on the other side. So you can actually see it's actually getting bigger in size as well. I find that if I use the tendering side first, it helps break it down so that it helps even it out. So you can see there, it's a nice thin-ish pork chop. You still want a little bit of meat there. So I'm going to do it to one more, show you again, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish off the rest. So there you go. You can see the thinness on that. So it's not paper thin, but thin enough. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. And finish off thinning out these pork chops, and we'll be right back for the next step. All right, so that's all finished. As you can see, got the pork cutlets already all pounded out, nice and thin. You can see some of them almost doubled in size because of pounding them out. If you're not a pork fan, you can always do this with some chicken, or in my family, we do something called eye of the round. We cut it nice and thin. My mother's from Argentina, so one of the dishes that she introduced to the family was called Milanese. So it's thin cut eye of the round that we do the same exact process with. So you can find your favorite meat protein and do this process with it. All right, so we're gonna push those off to the side. We're gonna take and beat 3 eggs in a bowl. 2. 3. Let me go wash my hands, hold on. Now I am back. We're just gonna take a fork or a whisk, beat up those eggs, get them nice and incorporated. And this is gonna be our egg wash. So as I'm mixing up the breadcrumbs, I'm just gonna take a couple cutlets and just stick them in there, let them hang out for a few minutes. All right. Our breading station. So to that, we're gonna add our panko breadcrumbs. We've just really fallen in love with the crunch that we get with the breadcrumbs. So we're gonna start by covering the bottom. I hate to waste, so I just go as it. I hate to waste, so I just make the mixture as I go so that I'm not dumping out a whole bunch at the end. So we've got our barbecue seasonings, just a couple dashes, okay? It adds such a great flavor. The Parmesan salt will add a nice salt component, so you don't have to add salt to your breadcrumbs. Too much salt is too much salt. So there we go. It also helps stretch the breadcrumbs if you're trying to follow a lower carb diet as well. If you don't want to use the breadcrumbs, the Panko breadcrumbs, you can always substitute with ground pork rinds. That's always a nice alternative. So some onion powder, again, a couple good dashes, and of course my favorite, garlic powder. All right, so that's mixture number one. Just take your fingers, do. Pardon the dog snoring in the background. It's Sunday afternoon and it's nap time. So we are going to take our pork, make sure it's got a good coating of the egg wash on it. So probably take from the bottom, let it drip a little bit, and then put it right into that breadcrumb mixture. I like to get it coated on one side and then flip it. And then this is where the secret. You gotta press. Press. Not only does it tenderize the meat, but it gets those breadcrumbs nice and adhered to whatever you're making the cutlet out of. It just stays so much better. So there you go. There is your cutlet. Once more, pork chop. Maybe. Drippy drip. Breadcrumb 1. Breadcrumb side 2. Take a little bit of those breadcrumbs, put them on top. Press. Guess she's tired today. What can I say? It's been a busy weekend. All right. So cutlet number 2. How beautiful does that look? All right. So I'm gonna finish breading up these cutlets and be right back. All right. Pork has been breaded and is ready to go into the deep fryer. If you don't have a deep fryer, not a worry. Just take a nice, probably a good 3-inch deep saucepan. Fill it with some veggie oil or peanut oil, whatever you have, and you can just use that to do kind of a shallow fry. We just love our deep fryer. So let's get started. So we've got this up to 374 degrees. Let that preheat a little bit. And now we're going to take one of our cutlets, test it, make sure the oil is good and hot. So you should hear a little bit of a sizzle, and then just slowly put it in there. Kind of do its thing. Alright, so because we pounded out these pork cutlets so thin, they should only take a total of 4 minutes total to cook. If you are doing the pan method, I would do 1 to 2 minutes per side and then flip and then check for golden brown. Alright, so it's been about 3 minutes. Let's see how ours are looking. Look at that golden goodness. Look at that golden goodness. That just makes me happy. All right, so we're gonna take it out. We're gonna transfer it to a cooling rack that we've lined with a paper towel, and go ahead and repeat. Ready to see the final results? Let's look together. How incredible do those look? So from here, you have a couple different options. Our personal way of having this, or our preference I should say, is just sprinkled with a little bit of fresh lemon juice. It helps cut some of the fat from the frying process, and then serve it with just a simple garden salad with a nice vinaigrette. So let's go ahead and do our taste test. So we've got our cutlet here. I've just taken a couple bites off the side, like I said, with that fresh lemon wedge. Just a couple. Doesn't have to be much, doesn't have to be drowning in it. But you can see the pork is nice and fully cooked and juicy and scrumptious. Let's go ahead and taste test. Oh yeah. Perfect. Family favorite, hands down. Like I said, you can do this with chicken, you can do it with either round, you can do it with pork, whatever your family favorite is. I'm glad I was able to bring a little bit of my side of the family in so that I can show you some family favorites. So again, thank you all for your love and support. We're gonna keep doing the videos best we can. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. We're so close to 100. I can't wait to get there. That's my first goal. So thank you all for helping me get there. Stay safe and be well, and come cook with me next week.